Hey, what's going on, guys? Kaoiji here. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the affixing system when it comes to Phantasy Star New Genesis. Now, I just want to preface this real quick by saying that there are a lot of things that are subject to change here, but we can at least go over some of the basics and the way that affixes themselves are going to be changing in Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. In Central City itself, there's going to be an NPC that'll allow you to be able to augment all of your weapons and units. Currently, this is no different than going to someone like Dudu and Monica in Phantasy Star Online 2. When talking to the NPC, you then have the ability of selecting one of your weapons. And from there, if you have capsules, you'll be able to then use those capsules to a max of 10 to then be able to affix those abilities onto your weapons or units. Now, keep in mind that this might change. There might be items that then help you to be able to raise the percentages on success, and certain capsules might have a harder time being able to affix than others. Now, from what I was told so far, you are able to use other weapons that have affixes on them to be able to then transfer them over to another weapon. But to be completely honest with you guys, I don't have enough footage when it comes to using other weapons during the affixing process, only capsules. One thing that I want to note so far is that it looks like it is possible to then upslot certain weapons. However, it looks like weapons seem to drop with a set amount of allowable affixes that you can then put on that weapon. As you can see currently on screen, this is a very basic weapon. And then right next to the affixing symbol or augment symbol, you see that it says 0 out of 2. This means that you can only put a maximum of 2 augments on this weapon. And from what I've seen so far in the closed beta test, you can get weapons that can drop at an 8 slot allowable. Now, we're a little bit unsure on whether or not the percentages on the capsules are determined by the amount of slots that you can then put on that weapon, or if they're determined by the rarity of the affix. That's something that needs a little bit more time, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have the access to that many augments during the closed beta test to be able to confirm that or not. However, just on the off chance that somebody out there is watching this video and you do have the information on whether or not the percentage of affixing the skill onto a unit or weapon is determined by the rarity of the affix, or if it's determined by the amount of slots that are currently on the weapon. What we do know so far is that you can definitely use up to 10 capsules. I've personally not been able to see anyone use more than 10, so I'm assuming that you can only use 10. So far, what we do know is that certain capsules are able to drop off of enemies in the open world. They're also able to drop off of the emergency trials and the urgent quests, or emergency quest. Hopefully that was able to help you at least get a basic understanding of what we know so far when it comes to affixing. But there's one thing that I really want to talk about here, and that's the fact that we don't have a flat damage value anymore. We only have percent damage values and flat HP and PP values. So for this example, we're going to be using an AR rifle. And as you can see now, all of the augments that are then transferred over from Phantasy Star Online 2 are now called Ricardo augments or Rago augments. Just to use Ricardo Souls 2, this used to be Guardian Soul. And for those of you guys who don't know what Guardian Soul did in Phantasy Star Online 2, it gave you plus 70 to all stats, including HP, and then plus 7 PP. Since they removed flat stats as an entire whole when it comes to the attack and damage values or damage resistance values, Guardian Soul or Ricardo Souls 2 now does something a little bit different, with the new value of Guardian Soul being plus 30 HP, 2 PP, plus 1% power. The minimum damage value that you're able to deal is plus 1%, and then you also have a plus 1% damage resistance. So just to get this out of the way, what this means is now that everything's moving over into a percent damage system, now this means that the early game progression, you're going to be seeing a lot of lower numbers. And then as we get past rarity 4-star weapons, we're going to start seeing higher damage values than what we saw in PSO2 original. This also means that a lot of the augments that you guys are going to be seeing are going to be stronger when it comes to Phantasy Star New Genesis itself. Just to use a couple of things as examples, Shoot 1 is 1% damage increase when it comes to dealing ranged damage, while then using Shoot 2 is a 1.5% increase when doing range damage. Now, for those of you guys who might be wondering, but I saw that there was 1 attack value in New Genesis. Well, that is entirely true, but it still looks like the values of tech damage, range damage, and melee damage still exist when it comes to the augmenting system. The capsule system alone seems to be making augmenting a lot easier, especially with the fact that a lot of them are more readily available, considering the fact that they just drop off of enemies. My assumption here is that we're going to be seeing a lot more rare augments that are going to be dropping off of either certain enemies, or they're going to be dropping off of certain instances such as cocoons or even bosses. And then the only other difficult process when it comes to the affixing system is going to be whether or not your weapon has enough slots to be able to then have all of your augments on it. And that's just assuming that we don't have an upslotting system and we have to have the weapon drop with the amount of slots that we need. As I mentioned earlier, there are a couple people who have been telling me that there is a way to augment or at least upslot, but since I don't have any footage on that, I don't want to report any information that then might be there and be false. So as we find out more about the topic, I hope to give you guys as much information as I currently have. I'm not going to lie to you, just using the capsule system alone as the means of being able to transfer augments or even affix just in general, it fills me with an incredible excite because now it's just like, all right, well, I don't have to worry about finding the weapon, having 3 of the weapon, and then trying to figure out what I need on said weapon. Now I just need to be able to farm the capsules and then have enough of them to then be able to guarantee that ability on my piece of gear. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Are you excited about the affixing system now that we at least have a little bit more information? Or do you prefer the old affixing system? Are you enjoying the fact that everything's going to be moving into a percent damage value system? Or are you one of the people who enjoy flat stats when it comes to the early game and then want percentages later on in the game? Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so very much for being amazing as always. I'm going to end the video out here. So again, hopefully this is able to help you with at least getting your head around the new affixing system and how much easier things are becoming. Man, I can't speak English anymore. But yeah, as always, stay awesome, stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.